They are probably the closest teammates, and the most in sync. Both are bright young stars of the police department, who have charged into life-or-death situations together, and cracked many major key cases. And this time the two are holding guns again, as they storm into the territory of the mafia gang. After a fierce battle for survival, John the bald man reached the edge of the port. An assassin with a knife unexpectedly jumped out behind him. A bullet lodged in Tom's shoulder. His teammate heard the gunshot and quickly ran over. He fired many shots in rapid succession, directly knocking the guy into the sea. Tom saved his close teammate's life. John escaped death by a whisker. He doesn't know if that mysterious assassin has been eliminated or not. He picked up a titanium alloy shell casing on the ground, and this is the exclusive mark of the top assassin in the Yakuza. Japanese legend says Roju holds a long grudge and remembers well. He will surely kill the entire family of anyone who is his enemy. Tom reassured John to be completely at ease, because he was certain he had shot the opponent in the face. That guy must be dead from one shot. John and Tom, despite different skin colors, have worked together for many years. The two families have been close for a long time and meet up for meals on weekends. But Tom's wife always disliked John because he smoked. She believed it was very harmful to the children's health. She told him not to smoke in front of the kids. Got it, Tom joked, while emphasizing his wife's reminder to John, who was about to walk out the door. The two brothers had just hung up the phone when a strange car drove up near Tom's house. A masked man, after confirming the person in the photo, grabbed his gun and stepped out of the car. The masked assassin stormed into Tom's house. He fired a shot straight at Tom's face. He stepped on the young police officer and in a cruel manner shot his wife and children dead right in front of him. John was dozing off in the car when his wife woke him up. As they had just arrived near Tom's house, they saw many police cars and fire trucks parked there. With a bad feeling, John told his family to stay in the car. He quickly got out to see what had happened. After being informed by a colleague, John learned that the 3 bodies in the burnt house were Tom's family. John's heart felt like it was struck hard by a cold, hard sledgehammer. In pain, he wanted to bend over and vomit. He couldn't accept that his brother, who not long ago was happily joking with him over the phone, had now become a charred corpse. John, with a heavy expression, searched the burned-out house. His eyes suddenly caught sight of a familiar object. Finally, he knew who the culprit was. Urged by his colleagues, he stepped out of the house. He looked at the titanium alloy shell casing, tightly clenched in his hand. His hands trembled. His expression became angry and resolute. A fierce desire for revenge consumed his entire being. In a flash, 3 years passed. A supercar, a Holland Spider C8, stopped in front of a club. A mysterious man stepped out of this luxurious car, valued at over $6 million. He slowly walked into the club. The man went to the VIP door and was stopped by 2 guards. He acted swiftly, slitting the throats of the 2 guards. And this club is the backyard of the Japanese Yakuza. In the VIP area, behind the beautiful women surrounding them, all this was for the core members of the gang to enjoy themselves. A group of Yakuza thugs were drinking and playing cards. A disheveled girl ran out crying. It turned out she was overly bullied by the minor boss. A gunshot startled this gang of criminals. The boss released 2 hunting dogs to rush out and check the situation. Not long after, one of the hunting dogs ran back in the dimly lit open corridor. The boss saw something hanging around the dog's neck. He knelt down to examine it closely and discovered it was a bomb. The mysterious man slowly walked into the room. The boss, who hadn't died from the explosion, recognized this man as the gang's top assassin, also known as Roju. No one would have expected Roju to betray the organization and kill his own people. Not long after, John led the team to the scene. 3 years had passed, and he was now the head of the FBI's anti-gang unit. At the scene, there was still one surviving Yakuza member. John, who had studied the Japanese Yakuza all these years, walked over to the henchman. He asked him in Japanese what exactly had happened, while pressing hard on his wound. But no matter how much John tortured him, the henchman remained tight-lipped, refusing to reveal any useful information. John reluctantly prepared to leave, but he suddenly saw a bullet at the corner of the wall. It was the titanium alloy shell casing that he hadn't seen for a long time. His mind flew back to 3 years ago. The killer named Roju had murdered his brother. That assassin was back. And for the past 3 years, John's life has not been easy. To track this phantom, he divorced his wife and only slept in the office to investigate the case. His mind was now completely consumed by the thought of revenge, because Roju, who had vanished for 3 years, had returned. John immediately summoned his team members for an emergency meeting. Currently, the entire city is dominated by 2 gangs. One is the Japanese Yakuza. The boss, Shiro Yanagawa, remains in Japan, remotely controlling the gang's activities in the U.S. And the other gang is the Triads. Their boss is Trang. The Triads and the Yakuza are mortal enemies. According to rumors, The Yakuza is preparing to sell the golden horse statue, the Trang family's treasure. This golden horse statue is a symbol of the honor of the Triad family. This will certainly cause a new round of conflict between the two gangs. And Roju, the one who recently betrayed them, is very likely the one stirring up this new storm. At this moment, Roju took out a Walter P99 pistol from his arsenal. He drove his supercar, the Spider C8, to a luxurious villa, and this is the home of the Triad, Boss Trang. Trang received the top assassin, who had defected from the rival gang. Facing Roju's surrender, Trang did not fully trust him. He needed Roju to demonstrate an action that showed more sincerity. Roju immediately promised him that he could retrieve the golden horse statue 100% that the Trang family had lost for many years. Trang was extremely delighted to hear this promise. He immediately ordered his trusted confidants, the Lai brothers, to fully cooperate with Roju's plan. Despite saying that the Trang family was still skeptical about the top assassin suddenly offering himself to them, the Lai brothers' attitude towards Roju was also not very friendly. Roju bribed a corrupt police officer in the dock area with money. At night, the Japanese Yakuza's truck arrived at the dock, ready to load and transport the goods. But the convoy hadn't gone far before police cars blocked the front and back, surrounding the members. The Japanese Yakuza members recognized the corrupt police officer, whom they frequently bribed. But unexpectedly, this time the corrupt police officer did not speak nicely, but ordered all of them to get out of the car and line up against the wall. The Yakuza thugs thought this was just a routine check, just going through the motions, so they didn't suspect a thing and complied. They even gave more bribe money to the corrupt cop, once again. Immediately after the corrupt cop left, they took action. The elder Lai brother stood behind the Japanese Yakuza gang with a submachine gun. Japan. As a result, the Triads were unharmed this time, easily wiping out a bunch of rivals. And in the luxury car being transported, from the truck, the golden horse statue that the Trang family had lost for many years was indeed hidden. This time, Roju performed a great service for Trang and submitted a satisfactory test. That very night, Trang sent a gift for Roju to enjoy. A beautiful and seductive girl stood before Roju with a box of cash. Both the girl and the money were Roju's to use as he pleased. Tonight, a gift bestowed by the new boss must of course be happily accepted. Refusing would make the boss suspicious. Because so many people died at the docks in one night, John knew that the gang war had begun. He rushed into a crowded restaurant and dragged the corrupt cop, who was having a good meal, away. He roughly threw the corrupt cop into the restroom, drew his gun, pointed it at his head, and forced him to reveal the sequence of events. Finally, he extracted the information that a strange Asian man had bribed him with money. He prepared to take the corrupt cop back to the FBI for thorough interrogation. But just as he walked out of the restaurant door, the corrupt cop was shot in the heart. John immediately saw the gunman on the opposite rooftop, and the one who sniped the corrupt cop was none other than Roju. John frantically ran toward the back of the building. He just managed to see the gunman going down the fire escape. Roju saw someone chasing him, so he turned and ran back up to the second floor. The man organized a dramatic rooftop chase. Both of them simultaneously descended toward the ground. Roju saw John also appear at the window and immediately started shooting, and jumped backward, falling into the stairwell. By the time John caught up, Roju had vanished without a trace. Just like that, a corrupt police officer was dead, and the suspect was also lost. A slender young woman appeared at the Japanese Yakuza's branch in the U.S. The one who arrived was Gina, the daughter of Shiro Yanagawa. Due to the club bombing, the golden horse statue being stolen, and many things happening at the U.S. branch, the gang sent the boss's daughter to take over. The original person in charge of the U.S. branch seemed unconvinced, as the boss's daughter was too young. He didn't just sit there talking, but also showed disrespect. As a result, Gina took action and subdued both of them with one move. They were so frightened that neither dared to put up any more resistance. Thanks to successfully retrieving the golden horse statue, Roju earned Trang's trust. He successfully moved into the Trang family's luxurious villa and became his close confidant. At night, Roju walked past Trang's room. Through the window, he saw Trang enjoying family happiness with his wife and daughter. Enjoy that family happiness. In that moment, he was even slightly stunned. As the saying goes, one mountain cannot have two tigers. Originally, everything around Trang was managed by the Lai brothers. Now Roju's appearance made the elder Lai brother feel a bit uncomfortable. He wanted Roju to know that in this manner, he was the one with the greatest contribution. But Roju completely ignored him. Or to put it another way, he was about to make a move against these two brothers first. The first target was the younger Lai brother, who was young and impulsive. That night, Roju deliberately wore Japanese Yakuza clothing and walked in front of the younger Lai brother. The young, easily agitated Triad thugs rode motorcycles to chase him. Roju intentionally lured these easily provoked Young men to the Japanese, Yakuza's turf. As a result, the two sides immediately lunged at each other in a chaotic fight. Roju stood coldly watching the show from the sidelines. No one knew what he was plotting. He seemed to have betrayed the Japanese and defected to the triads, Huang. But he was manipulating both gangs like a spinning top. Not long after the younger Lai brother won the brawl, Roju started his move again. He drove his motorcycle and shot at the triad thugs. The younger Lai brother saw the situation was bad and hastily hid in a row of concrete sewer pipes. But he didn't run far before Roju shot him down to the ground. Roju showed no mercy, violently beating this constantly cursing young man. Finally, he stabbed him with a knife, and the symbol of the Japanese Yakuza was clearly visible on the knife's hilt. John arrived at the scene to investigate the case and saw this knife. He knew that this city was about to pop off. A war between the two major gangs was about to break out. Trang, the triad boss, was very calm at this moment. He immediately ordered the elder Lai brother not to seek revenge against the Japanese. Their roots are not firmly established yet. A major gang war would only cause them severe damage. The elder Lai brother did not dare to defy the boss's order and could only suppress the anger in his heart. As soon as the boss left, Roju appeared again. He completely changed his previous cold, dismissive look. Previously, Roju even showed concern and asked the elder Lai brother about his loss. He also agreed that the elder Lai brother's idea of revenge was correct. He handed the elder Lai brother a box of matches. Printed on it was the symbol of the White Crane Tea House, which was also Japanese Yakuza territory. The flame of fury and the thought of revenge that had been suppressed in the elder Lai brother's heart now began to surge again. That night, the White Crane Tea House was bustling. The second-in-command of the American Yakuza branch was hosting a dinner for his fellow gang members. Just as this group of Japanese people were happily laughing and talking, a car drove into the back alley. The elder Lai brother and his men had arrived. A bloody gang confrontation was about to begin. The FBI agents monitoring opposite the tea house quickly called their team leader John to report this critical situation. Knowing a major incident was about to occur, John hurriedly turned his car around and sped toward the scene. At this moment, a large number of armed triad members had already stormed into the tea house. They surrounded the private room in the middle, and all the core members of the Japanese Yakuza in the private room were wiped out by the triads. Outside the tea house, members of the anti-gang unit were also attacking the gangsters. At the entrance, 2 cars carrying triad members who were about to flee were rammed straight into by John's 1969 Chevrolet Chevelle SS. He led his men and charged into the tea house. John, leading the charge, neatly took down the thug who tried to shoot him. He quickly and decisively apprehended the elder Lai brother and his accomplices. But just as he was about to escort them out, a sudden gunshot, unexpectedly, killed the triad member he was holding. It turned out that Roju had appeared on the building across the street and was continuously sniping the triad members. The elder Lai brother seized the opportunity when the police's attention was no longer focused on him. He suddenly attacked, kicking a female agent down. Just as he was about to run out, he was quickly captured by John. A member of the anti-gang unit was about to rush over to help when he was shot dead by a bullet from the second-in-command of the Japanese Yakuza, who was not quite dead yet. Looking at his colleague who sacrificed himself to take a bullet for him, this was the second comrade to die in front of him. John's anger, which had been suppressed for 3 years, had nowhere to be vented. He intended to step forward and avenge his comrade. John, with his extremely skillful martial arts, single-handedly took down many gangsters. He once again advanced toward the second-in-command. In Japan, you would be dead. This is not Japan. After killing the second-in-command, John stepped out of the tea house and saw Roju. Immediately, he quickly got into his Chevrolet Chevelle SS with its smashed front end to chase the R8 Spider C8 speeding ahead. The 2 top-tier sports cars sped fiercely on the city freeway. John clung close. Roju did not slow down, driving parallel to his opponent, vowing to catch this assassin. But he didn't notice that he had driven into a road under repair. John slammed into a barricade. The beautiful Chevrolet was completely destroyed. John could only watch as Roju sped away, escaping the pursuit. Roju was not in a hurry to return to the Triad Manor. Instead, he went alone to the Japanese Yakuza branch and met Gina, the boss's daughter. It turned out that his betrayal and defection to the Triads were actually a plan discussed in advance with the boss, Shiro Iyanagawa. The goal was to make a concerted effort once and for all to dismantle the Triads' influence in the U.S. Seeing the significant results he had achieved, now all Roju needed to do was kill Trang and his mission would be complete. But unexpectedly, Gina added a little extra task for him. She demanded that he also kill Trang's wife and son while he was at it, to nip the problem in the bud. For Roju, this was just a small matter. After all, 3 years ago, he had already killed a police officer's wife and child. But unexpectedly, Roju hesitated this time. To ensure he completed the mission better, Gina sent her bodyguards to accompany Roju and assist him. But this was actually to keep an eye on him. Roju returned to the manor. At this moment, Trang was preparing to pack up and flee. He wanted to stay away from this war. But right then, the elder Lai brother walked into his office with a gun. He was the only one who luckily survived and managed to escape back, but all his subordinates were dead. He put all the blame on Trang. If he hadn't just recruited Roju, none of this would have happened. His younger brother wouldn't have died. Trang was also furious. He had clearly told the Lai brothers not to act rashly, but he still insisted on going out and causing trouble. Trang, in a rage, fired multiple shots, killing his deputy, who had followed him for many years. After all, he now had the more formidable Roju. The Lai brothers were dead and gone. But he could not have imagined that the man standing in front of him was the one person he should not trust the most. At the same time, Gina's bodyguards also began their attack, quickly eliminating the guards in the manor. The anti-gang unit, who were already staked out outside the manor, hastily took pictures. Roju used his P99 pistol to kill a guard and entered the room. He found Trang's wife and son. 2 gunshots echoed inside the villa. The bodyguards saw Roju step out. The bodyguards questioned Roju, asking if he had killed Trang's wife and son. Roju said he had completed the mission, but those guys didn't believe him and demanded proof. Roju, enraged, unexpectedly attacked the bodyguards. These bodyguards were completely no match for him. He killed every single one of them. Roju led Trang's wife and son out of the villa. He escorted them into a car and drove away from this chaos. Just as Roju completely dismantled the triads, a private jet flew to the U.S. The Japanese Yakuza boss, Shiro Yanagawa, set foot in the U.S. for the first time. He came to take over the entire city's territory, and he told his daughter Gina to return to Japan because the headquarters needed someone he trusted to stay there. Roju silently looked at the titanium alloy bullet at home. He had finally waited for the moment of revenge. Finally, Roju carried 2 large suitcases to the Japanese Yakuza base. He met the boss, Shiro Yanagawa. Yanagawa highly respected this top assassin. After all, he had single-handedly dealt with the Trang family. Moreover, Roju gave him a grand gift, a pair of golden horses symbolizing honor. Yanagawa also sent Roju a suitcase in return. Roju opened the suitcase. Inside, besides a suitcase full of cash, he also saw a document clip. Confused, he opened the clip and discovered inside were photos of him eliminating the bodyguards and rescuing Trang's wife and son the night before. These photos were secretly taken by the FBI's anti-gang unit, but unexpectedly they were now in Yanagawa's hands. It was clear that Yanagawa had found out that Roju was not truly loyal to him. This assassin had failed to carry out the order to eliminate the root of the problem, literally pull up the grass to the root that he had given. Roju would have to pay with his life for this. He ordered his subordinates to take this man away and handle him. Meanwhile, he began to meticulously examine the golden horse statue. He discovered a problem. It was only a fake and a replica at that. Roju was led downstairs. How could he possibly allow himself to be captured and tied up? He quickly killed the 2 men and hid under the stairs, taking advantage of the moment. When Yanagawa stepped downstairs, he pressed the button. The bomb that had been hidden in the suitcase immediately detonated, causing a huge explosion. He didn't directly kill Yanagawa, but spared his life to deal with him personally. At this point, Roju's true identity was finally revealed. It turned out that he was Tom, the police officer everyone thought had died 3 years ago. When the assassin Roju shot and killed Tom's wife and son, a furious Tom pushed him into the bathroom. After a fierce struggle, he counterattacked and subdued Roju. To avenge his wife and son and to find the mastermind, Tom eventually shot and mutilated Roju's face. From then on, he went into hiding, changed his name, and traveled to another place. He underwent plastic surgery and changed his voice. He transformed into the fake Roju, precisely to get close to Yanagawa. This patience for revenge is truly unmatched. Precisely to get close to Yanagawa. This patience for revenge is truly unmatched. Roju and Yanagawa engaged in a fierce close-quarters combat. After a brutal exchange, Yanagawa was no match. He was slashed all over by Roju, bleeding profusely. Seeing the critical situation, Yanagawa hurriedly revealed a shocking secret. "John works for me. It was because of the address he provided that your family died." Roju could not believe that his best friend was the mastermind behind his family's death. He tightly gripped Yanagawa's head with one hand and savagely sliced off his head with a single swipe of the knife. Vengeance is a dish best served cold, and wrongs must be righted. He wouldn't let any of the people who harmed his family get away with it. Roju called John and arranged to meet him at the harbor, where they first encountered each other. Everything was finally coming to an end. John arrived at the harbor, but he wasn't alone. He had called his sniper team to wait for orders from afar. As soon as Roju appeared, he would be shot dead instantly. John cautiously held his gun, searching everywhere in the harbor for Roju's shadow. He entered the warehouse and was suddenly hit by a flying barrel, causing him to drop his gun. Roju finally appeared in front of him. The two men launched into a hand-to-hand fight. Both wanted to take the other's life. The two fought from the upper floor to the lower floor, from bare hands to using nearby metal objects to smash each other. Eventually, both dropped the weapons in their hands. They both tightly squeezed the other's throat until they choked. What benefits did Yanagawa give you that were worth betraying? Me and the lives of my family. John heard the opponent speak and was completely unable to believe that. The person in front of him was his good brother, Tom from back then. The two men tumbled out of the warehouse. At this moment, the sniper far away saw Roju and quickly aimed at him. But both men simultaneously retreated backwards, hindering the sniper who could not aim instantly. This also gave the two men time to catch their breath. After repeated confirmations, John finally believed that the man in front of him was Tom from back then. Confronted by Tom's questioning, John admitted that he had indeed been bribed by Yanagawa at the time and that he had provided Tom's home address to the enemy. However, he only thought that the gang would only send a few thugs to beat up Tom and teach him a lesson. He never expected Roju to still be alive and to seek revenge on Tom. John finally came to his senses and put himself out there to block the sniper. But in the end, he was still shot and killed by Roju with one shot. He finally had to pay the price for his sinful actions. A month later, Trang's wife, living in a peaceful village, received a box sent by a stranger. She opened it, and it turned out to be the priceless golden horse statue. The stranger also included a card for her, create a new life. At the same time, Gina in the distant Yakuza headquarters in Japan also received a box. She opened it but was so horrified that she slammed it shut immediately. She had seen her father's head. This is called doing evil. Many times will eventually lead to self-destruction. And the legendary assassin named Roju got into his still beautiful and stylish Spider C8, leaving this place riddled with sin to find a world of his own. After watching this movie, I greatly admire Tom. It's unbelievable that he could endure the humiliation, change his appearance, and live in hiding with the face of his enemy, just to finally find the real culprit and exact revenge. This patience is truly astonishing, and Tom, even after transforming into the ruthless Roju, actually did not lose all his humanity. Hatred sharpened his knife, but it did not flatten the contours of humanity in his heart. In my opinion, the real Roju was never a butcher who only sought quick revenge, but a lone soul who upheld the boundary of humanity. In the darkness is a faint light that terrifies the wicked and brings peace to the good-hearted. The value of a film lies in its reputation, while the value of a film review lies in the feeling it conveys. Today's story ends here. Thank you for watching. What do you think of this film? Please leave a comment below.